Storm-proof your life and your leadership. Storm-proof your life and your leadership. That's what we're talking about on this morning, on this morning's Manna. It's going to be the text to talk to take away 5 minutes or less. And so thankful and grateful that you're here with me on this morning. We just finished praying about this, First Lady and I. I certainly hope that if you want to tap into that prayer and agree with us in prayer, just go back on the same page and you can do that as well. Grab it and listen to it, share it. This morning, I continue this as I'm in this whole series this week about storm-proofing your life and your leadership. Storm-proofing your life and your leadership. I'll say it a third time. Storm-proofing your life and your leadership, kind of pulling on Leading Through Storms from my book. Leading Through Storms from my book. And I'd love for you to just tap into that, get that, because I believe it will really bless you for sure. I'm going to greet some folk on this morning, and then we're going to get into the manna on this morning. You already know. Good morning, Ramona. I'm not surprised that you are the first. That's right. Good morning, Ella. How are you? Brother Nesbitt, how are you doing on this morning? Lee, how are you on this morning? Annette, how are you on this morning? Laura, how are you on this morning? I don't know. Sometimes when I do this, it shows up with your names and all one way, and then other times not so clear and not so nice as this one is. I like that. Good morning, Deacon Joe Jordan. Now already been ordained now as a deacon. How about that? LaFon, how are you on this morning? Dawn, how are you? Elda Mobley, how are you? Felicia, how are you? Regina, how are you? Carolyn is in the house. Where's your sister, Carolyn? I'm looking. Good morning, Pamela. How are you on this morning? Bobby, how are you? Gerald, how are you? There she is. There it is, right there. Good morning, Brenda. How are you? Good morning, Minister Yolanda. How are you? Peggy, how are you? Daniel, the man is in the house. That's right. It is a great morning, because it's all about this. It's all about being locked in. Are you anchored? Are you locked in? That's the way you're going to be able to get through the storms, how you stormproof your life. Isn't that right, Bernice? Good to see you on this morning. Lee, how are you on this morning? Joya, how are you? Anna, how are you on this morning? Linda, how are you on this morning? It's all about, like I said, locked in. How do you stormproof your life and your leadership? You got to be locked in. You have to be locked in. And that's what we're going to talk about on this morning. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Good morning and welcome to Morning Manna, where in 5 minutes or less, you're going to get an impartation with the text, the talk, and the takeaway. Join the Morning Manna fam every weekday morning at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Don't forget to put in the chat the revelation that you get and share the manna. Now, let's get ready to have some manna so you can make it through your day. I'm locked in, I'm anchored, and I'm not shaken. That's how I'm going to storm-proof my situation. Whether it's finances, whether it's family, whether it's whatever the case may be. Here's the text. Hebrews 6:19. You know it well. Hear it again for the very first time. Here we go. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6:19. Let's talk about the text. Let me give it that to you. You don't find out if you're anchored, is what Apollos, the supposed writer of Hebrews, because they are in the midst of all kinds of persecution when he writes to this church in the diaspora of believers in the wake of Jesus, maybe several decades after he has now ascended. He writes this letter, and when Apollos writes it, he raises this whole issue that you don't find out if your anchor works until the storm starts rocking your boat. Let me let that sink in. Let that marinate. You don't find out if your anchor works until the storm starts rocking your boat. Anybody can be calm in calm waters when never tested commitment, but chaos will expose your core. Let me say it again. Chaos will expose your core. In my book, Leading Through Storms, I remind you that true leaders and believers aren't measured by how they lead or walk when things are easy, but how they stabilize themselves and others when everything is shaking. So, storm proof leadership requires internal anchoring before external action, internal locking in before I start looking outward to do anything. Here's the three things I want you to get this morning. The first is this: hope holds you steady when headlines, haters, and hardships try to pull you off course. Hope holds you steady. And that's what the book says in Hebrews 6:19. We have this hope as an anchor. It holds you steady when hardships, haters, and headlines try to pull you off course. Two, character keeps you grounded when opportunity tempts you to drift. Character keeps you grounded when opportunity and situations tempt you to cause you to drift. My anchor holds in this solid rock. This rock is Jesus. My anchor holds. I'm locked in. Here's the third thing I want you to get. Faith fastens you when logic tells you to quit. Faith fastens you to the anchor that I'm locked in with when everything around you says throw in the towel and quit. When you're anchored in Christ, storms don't move you, they prove you. Let me say that one more time. When you're anchored in Christ, storms don't move you, they prove you. God doesn't always calm the storm. Sometimes he calms his leader in the middle of it. Sometimes he calms his leader in the middle of it. What's your takeaway this morning? Stay locked in because storms don't drown the leader when the leader is locked in to the rock. Storms won't drown you when you're locked in and anchored to the rock. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. If this bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna. God bless you.